VON Radio from the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
From the VON Newsline, this is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening, I am Tammy Reed in with your VON Major News package for today, Friday, 30th November 2018. In our lead stories nationally, Nevis Island Administration to sensitize stakeholders on the introduction of digital asset technology Bitcoin and plan to prevent cervical cancer available to St. Kitts and Nevis and other countries in the Americas. Regionally, Caribbean farmers prepare for coconut boom. Internationally, French MPs vote to ban child smacking. And in sports, International Boxing Association under IOC investigation. We'll have the details to these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, VON.
Welcome back, and now the national news in detail. Stakeholders from the financial services and banking sectors here on Nevis are to be sensitized ahead of the introduction of digital asset technology, cryptocurrency Bitcoin. The Nevis Island Administration has organized a two-day seminar in collaboration with the Financial Services Regulatory Commission, Nevis Branch, the Nevis Investment Promotion Agency, and Beyond Capital Markets. They will host the Nevis Financial Transformational Technology Summit 2018, the first of its kind to be held on Nevis at Mount Nevis Hotel on December 6 and 7, 2018. The theme for the two-day activity is Harnessing the Potential, Embracing the Future of Digital Finance, and is expected to optimize the island's existing financial framework and map the way forward. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Mr. Colin Doerr, says students from the Nevis Sixth Form College who are pursuing studies in business and information technology will also be present at the summit because they would be the ones most likely to benefit from the introduction of that type of technology. Premier of Nevis and Minister of Finance, Honorable Mark Brantley, is slated to deliver an address and officially open the summit. The Pan-American Health Organization, PAHO, has launched a communication campaign aimed at preventing cervical cancer, which kills more than 34,000 women annually in the Americas, including the Caribbean. PAHO described the disease as being among the leading causes of cancer death in women in 23 countries of the region. It said that the campaign title, It's Time to End Cervical Cancer, is designed to inform health providers and empower women and girls with health information on how to prevent this disease, which is diagnosed in some 72,000 women each year. With the slogan, Don't Let Cervical Cancer Stop You, the campaign provides materials, information, and stories about the vaccine against human papillomavirus, HPV, the cause of cervical cancer, and about cervical cancer screening methods to encourage women to have regular examinations for early detection of precancerous lesions. PAHO said the ultimate goal is to mobilize health providers, women and girls to seek preventive care and stop cervical cancer from keeping women from reaching their maximum potential in life. In addition to providing information about cervical cancer vaccination, the campaign also aims to raise awareness about cervical cancer screening, which is recommended primarily for women aged 30 to 49 years. An estimated 32 million women in the region are eligible for cervical cancer screening, which when coupled with treatment can save lives. In September, health ministers from the Americas agreed at the PAHO Directing Council meeting on a plan to reduce cervical cancer by a third in the region by 2030. The Embassy of St. Kitts and Nevis held its first Patriotic Fair on Thursday, November 22nd. The fair ran from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and was hosted at the premises of the Embassy in Miramar Playa, Havana. It featured an open exhibition of items strictly made in St. Kitts and Nevis, including pieces of art and craft, textile, national wear, and folklore costume. The attendees expressed their satisfaction and delight with the range and quality of the items on display, and indeed lauded and applauded the embassy for hosting the event. Ambassadors who were present at the event voiced their intention to have their respective embassies perform the same exercise and encouraged the embassy to display the items at other fora. 2 half-day seminars were held here in St. Kitts and Nevis to sensitize stakeholders on the result-based management RBM system that will revolutionize the process in which national plans are carried out. The RBM system promotes a more result-focused approach to program and project management in keeping with the decisions made by the Conference of Heads of Government. It refers to a management philosophy and set of tools designed to improve project program design, management, effectiveness, and monitoring, along with reporting transparency and accountability of desired results. The facilitator was Deputy Secretary General of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Manama Soik Nandad. The seminar imparted information on the RBM approach to all invitees and made them more aware of the work of the CARICOM Secretariat as the key driver of regional integration in the Caribbean. Auction sale. That's what the St. Kitts and Nevis Customs and Excise Department Nevis Division will host on Monday, December 3rd. According to information from the department, the sale will be for items that were imported on or before August 13, 2018, and is in accordance with the Customs Control and Management Act, Chapter 20.4, Section 196. Terms of sale are strictly cash on the fall of the hammer, and to accommodate this sale, the facility would open at 8 a.m. and close at 12 noon. A listing of the items would be on auction would be posted at the ports of entry and other public areas here on Nevis. The sale will be held at the Brian David Courier facility on Main Street in Charlestown and commence at 1 p.m. Today, Friday, November 30th, 2018, marks the official end of the 2018 Atlantic hurricane season. The 2018 Atlantic hurricane season was the third in a consecutive series of above-average and damaging Atlantic hurricane seasons, featuring 50 named storms, 8 hurricanes, and 2 major hurricanes. To venture back into May of this year, the formation of Tropical Storm Alberto marked the 4th consecutive year in which a storm developed before the official start of the season. The next hurricane season will begin on June 1st, 2019 and end on November 30th, 2019. Grammy Award-winning British soul artist and actress Joss Stone has arrived here on Nevis as she is scheduled to perform live at the Michael Howell Sutton Auditorium at the Nevis Performing Arts Center, NEPAC, on Friday, November 30th from 8 p.m. According to Executive Director of the Culturama Secretariat on Nevis, Mr. Abernathy Liebert, the singer's visit to the island came about after she reached out to the administration to include Nevis in her tour. Her performance will form part of a total world tour that she is presently undertaking. She intends to cover some 200 countries, and thus far she has covered 150 of those 200 countries and will also shoot a music video with a local artist on Friday. Members of the public planning to attend the show will not be allowed entry without a ticket to avoid an overflow of patrons at the auditorium. Finally, a national gender equality policy and action plan has been launched here in St. Kitts and Nevis. The goal of the project is the development of a well-informed, comprehensive national gender equality policy and action plan that will guide the implementation of gender-based and sensitive strategies, both in the public and private sector, in an effort to protect the human rights of all citizens and residents. It is expected to serve as an institutional framework that will assist the government of St. Kitts and Nevis in facilitating gender equality and empowerment. According to Director of the Department of Gender Affairs, Ms. Celia Christopher, this is in support of the Federation's attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals and other regional and international commitments. That's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on our Facebook at Von Radio and our Von Radio YouTube channel. News from across the region is next.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It really is. Come and let the Bank of Nevis Limited improve your quality of life this Christmas. Take an unsecured loan of up to $20,000. Ho, 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 ho. That's not all. Take advantage of our flexible loan term options. It's Christmas and it's time to be merry. Contact us today at 1-869-469-5564 or Facebook, Instagram, or visit our bank today. It's the Bank of Nevis Limited, wishing you Merry Christmas!
Welcome back, and now the regional news in detail. Coconuts are a long-time staple of Caribbean cuisine and practically an emblem of the region's climate and culture, but a new international initiative is shifting coconut's image to an icon for business process innovation, wealth generation, and sustainable livelihoods. In the last 4 years, the Caribbean Agriculture Research and Development Institute, CARDI, has been implementing a major regional project working alongside the International Trade Center and stakeholders along the coconut value chain to transition the region's small-scale operations to enterprise-level profitability in the global coconut industry. The European Union and the African, Caribbean, and Pacific Secretariat funded the 4-year project to the tune of US $27 million. An upcoming celebration called CARDI Day will highlight the Institute's ongoing work in the EU ACP-funded Regional Coconut Industry Development Project through a series of exhibitions, public lectures, and school tours. Participants will see the many practical ways in which the project is breathing new life into one of the region's oldest industries. Barton Clark, Executive Director of CARDI, says the multi-stakeholder efforts will add up to a more competitive coconut industry for the entire region. In Dominica, Imansi Normil, male, 31 years, who is a Haitian national residing in Lagoon, Portsmouth, has been charged with the murder of a 20-year-old woman, Lona Deminsin, and a Haitian national residing in Lagoon, Portsmouth. That's according to local media reports, which also say that the Dominica Police Force have concluded investigations in the matter. A missing person report was filed at the Portsmouth Police Station by the mother of the deceased in the early hours of Thursday, November 22nd, when her daughter did not return home from work at her usual time in the evening on Wednesday. Normil is remanded in custody at the Dominica State Prison. His trial date is February 12, 2019. The body of the young lady has not been recovered. In Barbados, while government reduces how much it pays in wages by sending home hundreds of public sector workers, a minister is pleading with businesses to increase their wage bill by giving their employees a pay increase to boost economic activity. Minister of Transport and Works, Dr. William Goodwill, made the call in Parliament on Tuesday on the basis of government's recent decision to lower the corporation tax rate from 30% to between 1% and 5.5%. He was quoted as saying, "Get out there and increase the amount that the people are paid, because if everybody plays their part, it would help to turn this economy around." He argued that government's 5% pay hike in August this year, effective April 1st, 2018 to March 31st, 2019, was simply not enough to spur economic growth through consumer spending, since government only employed at about 25,000 people. Arguing that the private sector employ approximately 4 times that number, Dugwit said with the reduction in corporation tax, he expected a range of sectors to now jump at the opportunity of granting their workers an increase. Finally, Sagicor Financial Corporation Limited is looking to sell all its shares to the Toronto-based Alignvest Acquisition II Corporation in a US $536 million deal. The insurance company, which is listed on the Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago and London stock exchanges, announced on Tuesday that it has entered into an agreement with Alignvest in which the Canadian company will acquire all the shares of Sagicor at a price of US $1.75 per share. Alignvest is a special purpose acquisition corporation that listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange in May 2017 and raised or received subscriptions for an aggregate of 565 million Canadian dollars. A statement from Sagicor states that the completion of this agreement is dependent upon certain conditions and other regulatory approvals, as well as approval by the shareholders of Alignvest and Sagicor. If conditions are met, the transactions is expected to close during the first quarter or early in the second quarter of 2019. That's it for our regional stories. Stay with us for news around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. French MPs have voted overwhelmingly in favor of a bill that would ban parents from smacking their children. The bill on corporal punishment or humiliation seeks to ensure that parental authority is exercised without violence. It will now go to the Senate. Campaigners say about 85% of French parents resort to corporal punishment. Previous attempts to outlaw smacking at home have failed, although the practice has long been banned in French schools. French lawmakers backed the bill in a 51-1 vote earlier today, following a late-night debate. Last week, 4 members of the same family were arrested after a 9-year-old boy was beaten to death in the eastern city of Mulhouse. Police sources told local media that the boy had refused to do his homework and was hit with a broom handle. A Chinese man has been acquitted of murder after spending 23 years in prison. Ginger Hong had originally been given a suspended death sentence for the murder of a woman in Jilin province in 1995.
This is a case that has long captivated many people in China. The court found him guilty of picking up a female hitchhiker and then killing her. Now, he initially confessed to the crime, but then for more than 20 years after that, he said he had confessed because he'd been tortured. And so this case went through review after review after review. And so really the entire case hinged on this initial confession. And so this man suffered through 4 death sentences, which were then commuted into life in prison each time his case was reviewed. Today, he's finally been set free.
The records of 500 million customers of the hotel group Marriott International have been involved in a data breach. Marriott International is an American multinational diversified hospitality company which manages and franchises a broad portfolio of hotels and related lodging facilities. The hotel chain said the guest reservation database of its Starwood division had been compromised by an unauthorized party. It said an internal investigation found an attacker had been able to access to the Starwood network since 2014. The company said it would notify customers whose records were in the database. Finally, Ukraine will not allow Russian men aged 16 to 60 into the country following the imposition of martial law, reports from the capital, Kiev, said. An exception would be made for humanitarian cases such as those traveling to funerals. Martial law has been imposed in 10 Ukrainian regions until December 26. Here is more in this report.
It will be potentially devastating for a lot of people, particularly those who live along the eastern border of Ukraine with Russia. Many people have relatives across the border. This is obviously coming up to the Christmas period, so potentially it will have a pretty severe impact on many people who use that crossing on a regular basis. Now those who have Russian passports can't come in here, and one would imagine that this is potentially going to lead to reciprocal measures from the Russian side, making it that much harder for those families who maybe consider themselves Russian and Ukrainian to see each other.
That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Hey Betty.
Joan, TDC is at it again.
Really?
Yes! This weekend, the TDC Home and Building Depots are having their rotating discount sale, where every hour there's a different discount. And if you're at the cashier and the buzzer goes off, you get an additional 5% off your purchase.
I'm going to put my shopping list together right now. The TV for Steve, the cookware for Auntie Becca, the sofa for the den, paint for the bedroom, cutlery, and a new lawnmower.
I hear you. Be sure to pick me up earlier because this is one sale we can't afford to miss. TDC is Christmas.
Welcome back. Another sports in detail. In boxing, Olympic chiefs have begun an investigation into the governance, ethics, and financial management of the International Boxing Association, AIBA. The International Olympic Committee, IOC, warned AIBA could lose its status as amateur boxing governing body. The IOC has also frozen the planning for boxing at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. We have more in this report.
The IOC halted preparations for the Olympic boxing tournament in Tokyo, including the qualifying process, following talks among the organisation's leading officials in the Japanese capital. For several months, serious concerns have been expressed over the way the sport's governing body has been run. It came to a head earlier this month when Gafar Akimov was elected as president of AIBA, despite allegations that he's part of an international criminal network, something he's always denied. But whatever is ultimately decided regarding the future of AIBA, the IOC still wants boxing to be part of the Tokyo Games.
In local sports, the semi-finals of the Ministry of Education Department of Sports Primary Schools football tournament were played at the E.T. Willett Park on Thursday, 29th November. In the first match of the afternoon, the Charleston Primary engaged the Elizabeth Pemberton Primary and defeated the EPPS. Final scores: EPPS 1, CPS 0. The second game featured the Ivor Walters Primary and the St. Thomas's Primary. Final score: St. Thomas's Primary 2, Ivor Walters Primary 1. The grand finals will be played between Elizabeth Pemberton Primary and the defending champion St. Thomas's Primary. Meantime, the Malcolm Gishard Basketball League continued on Thursday evening, November 29th, and featured the Dynasty and the CSS Boys. Scores: Dynasty 54, CSS 28. Dynasty won by 26 points. Finally, in basketball, here are the scores from last evening's November 29th games as the 2018-2019 NBA season continues. Golden State Warriors 128 versus Toronto Raptors 131. LA Lakers 104 versus Indiana Pacers 96. LA Clippers 133 versus Sacramento Kings 121. Tonight, matches will see the Cavs versus the Celtics, Wizards versus 76ers, Bulls versus Pistons, Jazz versus Hornets, and these will commence at 8 p.m. The Grizzlies will face the Nets at 8:30, and the Hawks will go up against the Oklahoma City Thunder at 9 p.m. That's it for the sports segment. The general weather forecast is next. Welcome back, and now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight partly cloudy with a 30% or a low chance of showers. Winds easterly ranging between 15 to 22 kilometers per hour or 8 to 12 knots today, gradually increasing to 30 kilometers per hour or 16 knots by early tomorrow. Seas 1.5 to 2.1 meters or 5 to 7 feet, consisting of northerly swells with surfs breaking as high as 1.5 meters or 5 feet. Sea bathers should exercise caution. Sunrise tomorrow is at 6:25 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Friday, 30th November 2018. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, NIA to sensitize stakeholders on the introduction of digital asset technology, Bitcoin, and plan to prevent cervical cancer available to St. Kitts and Nevis and other countries in the Americas. Regionally, Caribbean farmers prepare for coconut boom. Internationally, French MPs vote to ban child smacking. And in sports, International Boxing Association under IOC investigation. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tammy Reed, wishing you a pleasant evening and a great weekend.
Reduced VAT days. Plus, there will be a store-wide sale throughout the month of December. Visit the store or call 466-4271.
24 hours of service, you can call them at any time. Thank God for gas free. Thank God for gas free. They fix the air condition real quickly and leave your fridge and stove working fine. Thank God for gas free. Thank God for gas free. Good teamwork, good punctuality, customers' relations are plenty. If tourism is to succeed, good service is what we need. Let's use gas free as an example. Put good service back on the table. And your nation needs a new attitude, my people. And your nation needs a new attitude, my people.
Call Gas Free 24-hour service today at 469-1928 or 662-8371.
Hurricane winds can cause trees and branches to fall. So before the hurricane season, trim or remove damaged trees and limbs to keep you and your property safe. Secure loose rain gutters and downspouts and clear any clogged areas of debris to prevent water damage to your property. Reduce property damage by retrofitting to secure and reinforce the roof, windows, and doors, including the garage doors. Purchase a portable generator or install a generator for use during power outages. Remember to keep generators and other alternate power or heat sources outside, at least 20 feet away from windows and doors, and protected from moisture. And never try to power the house wiring by plugging a generator into a wall outlet. This hurricane